All right, thank you everybody for tuning into Global from Asia, episode 331, video and audio. We're talking about outsourcing tasks, having other people help you do your Amazon Seller Central, your e-commerce business to actually focus on the things that make the most for you. Let's tune in right now.
Welcome to the Global from Asia podcast, where the daunting process of running an international business is broken down into straight up actionable advice. And now, your host, Michael Michelini.
All right, everybody. Thank you for choosing to listen to the show. As always, it is your humble host, Michael Michelini here. I have my leather jacket. I don't know if it's leather or pleather. It's my father-in-law's spare. So it's getting chilly here. We are going to be in November when this show goes online. We always bring good stuff for you. John Cavendish is back on the show. He's a very experienced seven-figure seller, been in and out of Amazon businesses, still selling himself, and has done amazing things as a speaker at our cross-border summit events and other things in our community. And he's always bringing the goods, bringing the good information for us. Today we're going to talk about, how to actually grow your business, how to find people to help you get to the next level. And it's a very interesting one. And we also have some special things to announce. We're going to do a live webinar. Save the date, November 12th. It will be short and sweet with a special offer. Of course, he does have a service here, and we do get a commission, honestly, but it's a special price, and he's really generous to both you and to us. So if you want to check that out, we have the show notes for the show at globalfromasia.com/sellercandy, which is the name of his business, where you can get the link to the webinar if you still make it, and other amazing things we talk about in this episode, as well as all our video, photos. We have amazing stuff there. So let's go into the session. We did do this live. Again, we're trying to do more and more of these live streaming and video and audio so you can get all the things you need. I think even if you're not selling on Amazon, you can get quite a bit from this show, but it is based more for the e-commerce seller. Let's tune in. As you can tell, we're doing more live streaming, live video events. We're doing it, of course, to just keep our game sharp. We have an amazing team making things happen here. If you like it and you want to actually get on the inside, we have gfavip.com, our private community, our inner circle, where you can get into these live events and networking sessions. These guests are amazing, and we have them there with you. So after the interview, a little bit before the interview, you can get to know them. You can get to know others in our amazing community. But we still want to give this information to people that can't make it. But if you're want to get on the inside and also get some relationships and networking, that's what it's really about. gfavip.com, and thanks in advance. Okay, thank you everybody for choosing to download and listen to the Global from Asia podcast. I think I said it already, but I'm still excited. 7 years now. We're 7 years old. So trying these new technologies, these online softwares, and we all, as always, have amazing people sharing. I'm so happy we have with us John Cavendish. He's friend of mine, has spoken at a few of our events about, various Amazon, Europe and Amazon businesses, and has always been really active in our community, and is co-founder now at Seller Candy, which we'll dive into the show. But thanks so much for coming on, John.
Cool. Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah. You've been involved with the community and shared earlier. So today, it's a very important topic. I know a lot of people are always interested in this. Like, how do we get these tasks, Seller Central or Amazon or e-commerce? How do we get out of this kind of like day to day and getting into the weeds and getting onto the business, right? So, but before we jump in, do you want to give us a little quick intro of yourself and where you're at?
Sure, can do. So. As Mike said, I've been involved in the community for a while. I've been an Amazon seller now for 6 years, I think. Still selling on Amazon, and actually now live coming to you from Vietnam, because I've been based here for about 5 years. And just like Mike, aiming to travel this year, aiming to not be necessarily in Vietnam the entire year, but because of COVID, kind of here. Me and Mike have had some chats about that.
Yeah, we've been talking.
Being stuck in different places. I've been selling on Amazon for 6 years, and we still have that business. About 2.5 years ago, I started an Amazon agency, where like full service management agency, we did, high ticket clients, bigger brands in the US and Europe, and helped them to grow and scale. And then one of the things I realized with that business as I kind of grew it, and I've semi-exited that now, is that there's something in the middle. Like there's some people who want assistant but aren't ready for full management yet, or don't want full management. And that can either be, Amazon seller, or it could be a bigger company who has a marketing manager, and their marketing managers, all their time has been taken up with Seller Central. So we want to develop a service somewhere in the middle, and that's Seller Candy.
Yeah, Seller Candy, great, man. That's a cool story. Yeah, I think. Yeah, we've been on similar tracks. I'm stuck in China, mainland China, which is almost scary to say. I get some people angry. There's some angry people, at China, but I'm here, and we're all stuck where we are. It's like the frozen year. But yeah, for the last few years, it's been great to see you develop your businesses and growing within the Amazon space, the e-commerce space, and also in Asia, which is awesome too. Originally from the UK, I think you didn't, originally from the UK, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I was living in London before I moved to Asia, but I'm from Nottingham, like in the middle.
Oh, okay. Nottingham. Awesome. And I'm not going to dig into that because I've only lived in London for a little bit, but Nottingham sounds fancy. It does. Isn't there some really fancy?
I was there. It was the gun crime capital of England.
Oh, really? The Nottingham Palace. Is that what I'm thinking of? Nottingham Palace?
No, you're thinking of Notting Hill in London.
Okay.
Or Sandringham Palace. But no, Nottingham's a good city. Where Robin Hood's from.
Yeah, cool. And yeah, I know. I was thinking of it, and that actually kind of crossed my mind. Maybe that's what Amazon or e-commerce is, and I guess that's what disruptive business is, right? Robbing or disrupting, right? Disrupting traditional retail, traditional ways people buy online, and then the people like you and me and the listeners that are adapting to the online world, we're benefiting. We're staying ahead of the curve and the trends. So you mentioned it a little bit. I think maybe dive a little bit more into the struggle. I think the struggle, of going online, doing a business is the team, the finding the right people, getting the tasks done, and not getting stuck in that day to day. So does that maybe share a little bit more about the journey there?
Yeah. So everyone who talks about business talks about becoming the owner of the business, not the operator. And we kind of found that, what I found doing my own business and also talking to a lot of people, is that everyone wants to go straight from being the owner, from the operator to being the owner. And that's pretty much impossible to do. Like, they don't have enough revenue, you don't have enough experience. And if you do that, you end up everything going crazy because everything spirals out of control because you don't know how to manage these people. Well, that was my experience anyway.
Yeah, it's true. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. So basically what we want to do is create a service that lets you take the step from becoming the operator to the owner. So this is like a stepping stone. Being able to outsource and get rid of the annoying everyday tasks which keep you busy, but don't actually add value to the business. So the struggle really is every day we're working on our business, feeling really busy, feeling tired at the end of the day, but we're not necessarily doing things that add value, asset value to the business, add growth revenue. It's just busy work, which is like beneath us if we want to elevate ourselves to a higher level.
Makes sense. Yeah, so we'll get into that more. And I think a lot of people I talk to are always struggling because one is a lot of times they do it themselves. There's actually been some pretty good success stories even on the show. Like we've had some people, they do almost everything themselves actually, which is kind of crazy, or they sometimes have like one or two really, really skilled, hardworking people that are highly educated, can do like every freaking thing, like there are people that somehow almost enjoy that. But most people are like what you're saying. I think we maybe want to kind of learn it a little bit ourselves or get it started, but we hope to hopefully build like you said, building a business, which is not a job, right? A job is something you need to do every day. And if you don't do, you don't get paid, right? But a business is hopefully something that's earning money while the dream is while you sleep, you wake up and there's new money in your bank account, things are getting done without your needing to be involved. So, I think people probably know, but let's just go through some of the major buckets of what kind of things do need to be done. Or do you categorize these? How do you kind of like structure that in your mind?
So the way I structure my mind is I try to take a step back from FBA and think of it as as any other business. So any business kind of fits into three buckets, which is, sales and marketing, finance, and operations. So when we're adding value to our FBA business, we need to be doing the product development or the marketing side of operations, is the way I see it. So finance, you can get a bookkeeper, outsource that as soon as possible. It's a waste of time. Operations, like we can keep ourselves busy doing the really basic operational stuff, but that's also not adding value to the business. So we want to be there marketing the products and developing new products. So that's where that's the kind of way I silo it. And then Amazon, okay. you can either silo the marketing as, Amazon marketing is marketing, or you can do product development as operations. And they're the two real ways of adding value to your Amazon business: improving your marketing, improving your products. Yeah. And everything else is busy work.
I like it. Another suggestion, at least, another way I look at product development, I call it like R&D, research and development, which is, I guess you would kind of structure under operations. It's
operations, yeah.
It is R&D, I think, is under operations, but yeah, basically, I think any good business any innovative business, right, is doing R&D, which is a cost, but obviously it's an investment towards growth. And yeah, if you're not making new product, right, you're probably gonna fall behind. If you're just milking the cash cows, I'm thinking some of my school days, but you have those 4 segments: the star, the cash cow, the dog, and the maybe average product. I'm sorry, I didn't prepare that one, but yeah, basically, yeah. So you're basically saying at least I counted 4: finance, ops, marketing, and product development as the 4 buckets.
Well, the 3 buckets, any business should be finance, sales, and marketing, operations, and then we try and subcategorize everything under there. Easy way is to get rid of finance until you need a CFO or somebody to do your financial projections, which is the most important part of finance, because you're still going to have to be head of finance unless you've got somebody who's super qualified. Sales and marketing. Also, then if you think about that, you can, if you want to outsource some of that, so say a PPC agency or something like that, but you need to be heading up until you have a COO, somebody to cover that. And then operations and product development, where you need to be heading up that, probably leading on the product development side, because the easiest way to make money on Amazon is have the right product. And then getting rid of all the stuff underneath, because that's the bottom of the barrel. Like that's the cheap work, which is just to make sure everything keeps running day in, day out.
Got it. Okay, that's great. Another one is, when do you think somebody should start to ask for help? Like when, like you're saying, maybe you started by doing yourself. Like I've had, mentors, or maybe not offended, but older people, like, there's a lot of different ways to think about this, but they say you do everything yourself. You clean the toilet yourself. You sweep the floor yourself. You do every single part of the business yourself. I remember this guy, I won't say his name, but really, and then later you start to hire that person that the things you either don't want to do or can't do, or, or it's not, like you said, not valuable for you to do. But how do you know when is the right time to do that? Is it financial, or is it operations, or both?
Yeah, I don't agree with doing everything yourself. I think it really depends on the skill set. So it's good to understand how things work. And, if you follow the E-Myth mentality, they do everything and build the process for it. The caveat to that is, if you can find an agency, like a smart agency, to do things for you, have a better process than you, I think it's better for them to put the process in place. That's not what we do with Seller Candy, but that's a good way of another solution to doing that. I would get somebody for me personally, as soon as possible. I think anything above 15,000 a month revenue is a good time to move, because then you're really starting to scale. But the question I ask myself is, do I still want to be doing this in a year from now? And if not, then I should be training somebody to do it as soon as humanly possible.
Okay.
because it's going to take a while to get someone in place. It's going to make sure that as long as we got the cash flow to make it happen, I want to make it happen.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think another way to look at it is make a 12-month budget or a 6-month budget and hopefully have enough. A lot of people we know a lot of people that are, I've done it myself, bootstrapping. You're starting with like nothing, but hopefully the better way is hopefully having a budget of cash, in your bank account where you map out all your costs, even if you have zero sales or negative cash flow, but hopefully you have money in the bank to cover that cost of that, team member or service for X, 6 months. I think it's Bill Gates or Microsoft. He says, he tries to keep 6 months of operations with no income, which actually would be, a lot of people right now are learning that the hard way with COVID, like if you have zero sales for certain businesses, like how long can you operate? So maybe also another way is, I like the 15K mark, but also maybe if you want to start with somebody right away, you budget out like 6 months to a year of the cost, assuming zero sales or a burn rate, burning money, which is meaning you're spending more than you're earning, which is another way.
I guess it really depends how many times you've done this. Like if you had a business before, you've got some cash and you've also run a business before, I would definitely start hiring earlier and go to negative cash flow. If it's someone's first time, negative cash flow scares people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not saying invest in our services or invest in any service unless you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Unless you're comfortable burning this money, because it feels scary the first time you burn money.
Yeah. It's I don't know about you, it still scares me.
Well, depends on the path, doesn't it? You're burning money, and if you know this is the path to making that money, it's fine. And you've done it before, or you've got your plan in place, that's fine.
The word burn is a little scary, but try to think of it like invest, and I think people should. I mean, burning is a word everybody likes to, investors and business owners use, but we should also think of it investing, right? By you investing in a team member or somebody or a service or, whoever, you have a service we'll talk about, but don't think of it as it's a cost, but it's an investment for you to grow the business, focus on the things that are more valuable for you to do, right? So that's another way to think about it. But yeah, so I guess, of course, you can invest up front, or you could try to hustle and do everything yourself and not really spend money, but spend your time, right, to do it yourself. I think the next one I have on the list is, maybe I'm wrong, but I think I kind of bucket the types of ways you can get the help of 3. Virtual assistant. I don't like the word virtual assistant really, but I guess it means like an online based worker that can do tasks for you, but of course, hopefully you would hire somebody that has Amazon experience, not just hire somebody that has no Amazon experience, but or at least experience in whatever thing you're trying to do. Then there's the full-time, maybe employee, but I almost feel like that's today's world, especially COVID. I feel like it's almost the same now, VA or full-time, right? It's just, but agency, is my other kind of question. So how do you, I know you have your service, maybe that's a whole new category, but maybe you can give us some ideas what people can choose from when they decide to outsource, how to outsource or not do it themselves.
Yeah, so I think, like you said, VA has just become synonymous with, lower paid employee, kind of, because it's the same thing. Having a full-time employee is the same thing. So, we use the term VA or personal assistant just to get in people's minds. They're in that headspace. Like, this is our price point. So, as you said, there's 3 different types. It really depends on what level of person you're looking for, whether you're looking for somebody to get a specific result, or whether you're looking for somebody to help you grow the business long term, or just have somebody on your team. So if you want someone you're going to have to manage actively, I prefer that to be a higher paid employee, because what we're doing with Amazon is very repetitive. So there's not necessarily a reason you should be spending lots of time training and managing somebody who is only doing small repetitive tasks, because that's cheap and easy to find a service, find someone like us, finding a different service who can just deal with that stuff. But if you want someone who's going to grow with your business over the very long term, you want to invest money in training and hiring and having them on the team, then that's good. But you need to be able to afford to pay them, because there's nothing worse than hiring somebody cheap training, investing in them, and making them irreplaceable. Because I'm sure you've done it. I've done it many times. I've
Yeah.
trained people that they're too skilled for now. They're really good value now because I've trained them up in this amazing stuff, but I'm not paying them enough. So they can go somewhere else and use their skill set if they wanted to. The people don't do that, but it's more like if they ever want to leave or if you want another person, you're going to have to pay them a lot more, and then you're going to have to equalize salaries anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I think a lot of us have been there. I also enjoy, that's kind of like what I like about the community and the podcast. I like to kind of educate people generally. But yeah, of course, the best is to hire somebody who knows how to do it already, right? Rather than train them, because because you're going to spend a lot of time, and like you said, they might not work out, or either they might not fit in the culture, they might not, maybe the rate, they find another rate of job somewhere else. So yeah, it's totally true, and I've learned the hard way, and sometimes I still learn the hard way with that. But I think that's also a struggle of hiring and managing yourself, right? You got to kind of, it's human. You're dealing with people, right? People, so you got to find them, onboard them, train them, manage them, incentivize them, keep them, that's management. And that's why a lot of times people like Google and Facebook, because you don't have so many people, because people, everybody has their life, they have things come up, they're so yeah, managing people is always a challenge, right? Whether they're even the higher paid or lower paid, you're still managing that person. And then you said, so that would be for the employee or the VA or the person that you're hiring and directly managing. I think then you said a specific task would be like an agency. You meant, maybe I missed it.
A specific outcome. So, it could be an ongoing relationship. And if you want somebody who's super skilled, like more skilled than us, agency is the way to go, in my experience, because you're going to get someone or you're going to get an agency who is responsible. So they are tied to the outcome. They're 100% tied to the outcome. You don't have any employment costs if you're hiring locally. But also, they're make or break on what they said they'll deliver.
Okay.
And I like that. I like, you might be paying them more than you pay an employee, but you have a set outcome that they want to get to.
Yep. I agree. Okay. It kind of actually almost perfectly leads into the next question I have is, KPIs or metrics, or how to know what they're doing is good, or how to, I don't know if it's different for an employee or a team, internal versus external, but what are some ways, especially within Amazon or e-commerce, what are some metrics that you would suggest to use to, even using a service like yours or an agency, what are some things people should look at? Of course, there's top line, but what are some other ways?
So I think self-managed people, that's the same with all people I'd want to employ, but self-managed people, especially if they're working from home, especially at the assistant level. So we want people who can solve problems with minimal interaction. So there's two different levels. There's our service level, where it's very easy to monitor results because you're looking for an outcome. We're trying to fix things. We're trying to get to a certain result as quickly as possible. So super easy to monitor. And then if you're working with an agency, it's all about having an agency that tells you what the KPI should be, or asks you for the KPIs and gets down to a set of KPIs that they're going to be judged against. Because the best people want to be monitored. The same thing with good employees as well. They'll ask you for KPIs. You shouldn't need to give them KPIs.
Great. That's great, man. And then what are some you would suggest, do you generally?
But it really depends. So at our level, it's response time. It's getting to the right result. It's interaction, speed of response to you, to the customer, but also with Amazon. That's the KPI we judge ourselves on, and how long it takes to solve an issue. Okay. When you talk to an agency, it's going to be, revenue, strategy, where we are against the plan, and having a plan. Too many people go forward without a plan.
Awesome. Those are helpful. Thanks for sharing. Next question is the mistakes. What are, you've you're a seller yourself, you've been in the agent, you're doing an agency or seller candy. What are, I'm sure you're seeing trends that these sellers make over and over that are almost probably annoying to you now, but what are some of them that you see that we can learn from?
I mean, there's some generic ones to start with, like, hiring too fast. Like hiring too fast, you get sick of the hiring process, don't you? Like you start hiring, and then especially if you're hiring in through like a platform with lots of people applying, like assistants, you get volume, and volume's
Yeah.
horrible to deal with. You're like, oh, I'm going to get this amazing person. You get 250 applicants. So you need some way of dealing with that. So you need to have a real outcome. Like I need to get the best person ever. So hiring too fast, and that's linked to firing too slow, because it's horrible letting people go, especially when they've left other things for you. But if they're not a good fit, they need to go as soon as possible. And that's kind of tied to the investment in the person, isn't it? Like you don't want to invest in the person and then them disappear, but also you don't want to have to let them go. So you don't want to get too emotionally invested in that. And we all want to be good people and support these people and not just let them go into nothingness.
Yeah.
So I guess the next one is pitfall would be training from the ground up. Like I mentioned before, like we need somebody who knows what they're doing already. People can be trained in our systems, but they need to have the right analytical mindset, have some experience, and just be curious. Like if someone can't solve a problem themselves, then it's going to be a hell of a job training them.
Okay.
I guess another one, not taking training and management time into account. We value our time highly. If you're not valuing your time at minimum $50 an hour, then you should be valuing your time more, ideally $100, $200 an hour. So that, if we're spending 10 hours a week managing somebody, really, really adds up. So not taking that into account. And then hiring for the wrong role. So the biggest one that people do is they hire for the wrong roles. Like we find this because we do outreach through a few different platforms, like occasionally Upwork. Don't tell Upwork. That we're looking for people who are hiring. Too many people are hiring for roles in their company they shouldn't be hiring for. Like build me an Amazon business. Do some product research for me, do product development for me. Like that can be done if you talk to a high level agency or person who's going to pay a lot of money to develop a product for you, or somebody who's an Amazon expert and for some reason they're willing to help you for $500 an hour. But no, you shouldn't be outsourcing that stuff. You should be outsourcing the busy work you're doing every day so you can concentrate on marketing and product development. The only thing you should be doing to be making money.
Awesome. This is really cool. Yeah, I have done that. I flipped from Upwork. Usually we're hiring, but you flip from Upwork to being an employee looking for a job. And I read some of the job descriptions, and I'm like, wow. And the worst is they're not. Another one is they're just totally unclear. They don't have so many. I haven't looked lately, but I remember I read they just write like 2 sentences. Like title is like, yeah, like you said, like I need somebody to research product, find product. And, like description is like, oh, I'm looking to hire somebody that can help me make $1 million. No, I'm not. I don't say that, but they're just saying something so vague, and then they wonder why they get bad applicants, or like you said, they try to hire somebody that's wouldn't want to be hired if they knew how to do that, right? Like find me $1 million a year earning product, like if I could do that, why would I apply to do that for you, right? That's kind of what you were saying. So yeah, I agree with that one. So so it's one of my more last kind of questions. Also, there's a couple people attending. We can leave chats. We can add it to the show, and then we'll go into the networking mode after for those on here. But you kind of answered it, but let's maybe dive a little bit. So once they start to answer, once you start to get, the right tasks and the right people, I think we feel like talking about traction too is a good one. Gino Wickman, getting the right people into the right seats. I feel like you've even kind of mentioned, it feels like we both have read that and we're referencing that in some of the discussions here, like the corporate structure, the structure of the buckets. But so you're saying like the main focus of the seller, the owner would be let's maybe dive a little bit more. So what would be like a day-to-day of somebody like, finally got on the business and they're an Amazon seller and they're what would marketing and product development. So maybe you give us some ideas of what that would be.
Yeah. So basically focusing, I think, on revenue generating activities.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like process improvement, new products, advertising improvement, deals with JV partners. They're all things that we could be doing. So, ideally, rolling out of bed, not checking your sales, not getting a load of messages from like checking your customer service messages and getting angry and emotional
Yeah.
about the terrible response that somebody sent out last night, or the inadequate thing that's happening.
The person those customers trying to rip you off for like a free one or something.
Yeah.
Like,
and having somebody that can deal with that, like, there's always going to happen. So you just need your customer service person just needs to be good enough to be, this guy's trying it on again, doing a bit of research, checking this guy didn't actually receive this product. And then it doesn't need to get raised to you. They can tell you once a week about it. That's the level we want to get to. So yeah, focusing really on, I think, ways in which we can add value.
Yeah. It was actually in a recent podcast I did on I was just me on the microphone. I call it artist and garbage men. So I think the artist is the product development person or finding the new product opportunities. The garbage man is the data analytic person, and they're the ones that are looking at the numbers. So I think you can do both. You can be, it's like left brain, right brain. But I think those are the two core skill sets of a Amazon e-commerce seller, right? Finding new products, knowing your market, knowing the trends in your market, and then digging into that data, right? Looking at your metrics, looking at your competitors. We're missing Canton Fair right now, but and trade shows. But you walk around with sellers, right? And you walk around, they can look at a product, and you can, if you're really good, you can almost know if this will be a good product or not for you, and you don't even, and the price. You can look at it. You don't even have to look on Amazon or Alibaba. This product could probably buy for this price, and I could probably sell it for this price. I think that's where you should be focusing, right? Knowing your industry, knowing how much products cost to make and how much products cost to sell within hopefully a vertical or a niche that you're in. Like if you're the expert on this category or this group, right? And then that's what you should be focusing on. And which is not going to be so possible if you're, like you said, rolling out of bed, checking your Seller Central messages and dealing with some customer that's complaining about this doesn't fit good on my stomach and blah blah blah, and then like you said, you get your mindset off, right? It messes up your whole day. You're not creating value, and there's tons of that, whether it's Amazon e-commerce, any kind of business or life, right? So I totally agree, John. Yeah, I mean, especially if you the first thing in your morning, right? So many people check email, check customer service. It's tempting, but yeah, you try not, especially, or if you're still going to do those things, try to do them, I would suggest, after you at least got your more important things done, your valuable things done in your mindset.
And it's all mindset. Like all business is mindset. Like whenever anyone's having a not so stellar time, which happens to everyone, I think especially us people who are always trying to push and achieve more things and try new things, there's always lulls and downtimes and bad times. We all go through them. And that's when I really realized that it's all mindset. Like the people that succeed are just the people that can have consistency for the longest period of time.
Yeah.
And then at least to build a system around themselves, so they know that about themselves, so that whenever they want to disappear for a couple of weeks, that's fine.
Yeah.
And that's the reason to have staff. Because
I agree.
If I want to disappear for 2 weeks, then I want to be able to do that without going crazy.
Yeah. It's I'm actually reading for a second time, Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It's recommended by he's also in a community. You might have met him, Rollins in Taiwan. He's but it's basically I should get him on the show. He hasn't been on the show yet, but he's done some workshops and things. But basically you want to have your friend Mo, and your friend Mo, and he says in the book, is momentum. And you don't get momentum until you get consistency and a habit to, because if your brain is fried and you're always thinking about the day-to-day operations, you can never really get to that level where you're actually on your business. And it's not about being lazy, right? it's about being able to make more strategic decisions. Like like even this podcast right now, we're trying to research these new softwares, trying to be more creative, trying to try new things. But if you're stuck in the currently just maintaining where you're at, you're not going to get to that next level. So this is great, John. Thanks for sharing. So let's talk. We got a couple things to share. One is this is the podcast, although we are streaming this on Facebook and we have some people in here, so it's not a webinar, but we are going to do a webinar together. Where it's just like you're saying, try to be on the business. We're trying to prepare in advance, so it's going to be a couple of weeks away. But I think when the show goes online, we're being more organized here at Global from Asia. So this show will go online November 2nd or 3rd, and then we're going to give people about a week. And we picked a date of November 12th, which is a Thursday, and we are going to try 2 different times. John's really great. You're giving us a lot of your time. So we're going to do a morning session in Asia time, which is evenings in the US. Unless you're a night owl in Europe, it'll be like 3 a.m. in Europe or something. And then we're going to do a second session in the evening Asia, which will be more like for Europe and Asia, unless you're a crazy night owl in America. But we're going to have 2 different sessions. Do you want to share about what you're going to share in the webinar that's maybe not in today's podcast?
Sure, yeah. So what I'm going to be sharing is how you can get a fully trained and useful assistant up and running in under a week with no training, no hiring costs, no management time, and no payroll headaches.
Awesome.
So basically, I'm going to share some of the ways that we regularly save our customers 15 plus hours a week of Amazon management time.
Awesome. That sounds really great, man. And we'll have that link on the show notes, and then you can choose your time slot and get on the reminders, and it's totally free. And we're gonna also have some bonuses in there. We're trying to make that the most for everybody, and you'll have slides, so it won't just be video and audio, but we'll have some presentations to see. And I'm excited. Actually, I want to learn that. We're getting back. I go back and forth with the e-commerce, so I'm not currently selling, but I think I mentioned to you, I'm actually starting to sell again for some things, and still a little early stage, but we are always looking at ways to do it better than each time, as all of us are. So, and then, while we do want everybody to go to the webinar, I guess that's the focus for today, of course, is registering for the webinar, but maybe you can't make it, or which really sucks, or maybe this is after the webinar date, sellercandy.com, but I think you also have something special for, we'll actually, maybe we won't say it on the show, but there's probably something special for listeners on that, if they, we'll link to a special page, or what's the deal there? Or hopefully I'm not saying something wrong, but I think.
No, it's fine. So what I said here is don't miss the webinar.
Don't miss the webinar.
We'll be offering special pricing. No, specifically for your audience, and we can answer questions live. And this is by far the most efficient way for us to talk and answer questions about Seller Candy. I'm sure we'll be sending out a replay, but that's going to be a very short amount of time after. But this isn't going to be one of those super long webinars where we keep you on forever telling you stuff. It's going to be short and sweet. This is how the service works. This is what you can do with it. These are this is our terms. This is the offer we're doing specifically for you, and the bonus specifically for you, and then the questions. We're going to get through fast. We know people need this service. This isn't like a roundabout way of saying, oh, this is the problem, this is the solution. We know you need the solution.
Yep.
So we're going to keep it short and sweet and answer questions really. So it's going to be super action packed, super fast, and hopefully there's a time that everyone can make it to the webinar.
Great, John. We've worked together, into various ways and events and all your things. So you always deliver great value, just like today. And I like yours straight up. We're gonna sell something there, but it will be a really special price. So definitely don't miss out. And no matter what, they're gonna learn a lot. I mean, you're a very established seller, and you're always sharing so much. So, all right, we'll link that in the show notes, and hopefully about a week after the show goes live, that will give people enough time. And there will be a small replay time, but it won't be forever. But definitely, guys, don't miss out. We'll be there. John, me, we'll have a community there. You make get some knowledge, get some attention. It's totally free. I guess that's all we have for now, right, John?
Yeah, that's it. Well, thanks for having me, as always, Mike.
Yeah, so I'm going to switch to the table mode. We have a couple of people here for that benefit for those people, but for now, the podcast recording is over. Thank you for tuning in. Are you a gladiator? I really consider Amazon sellers or e-commerce sellers as the modern day gladiator because it's an arena. We're in we have the audience is the customers, and then we have Amazon as the guy, as the Lord, and there's competitors trying to cut our heads off, and I really respect the seller. And with our last business we did in the show called the E-commerce Gladiator, and it became a book. It's gotten great feedback on Amazon. It's super, super cheap. It's actually super valuable. We also have a mastermind for that too. If you want to check it out, ecommercegladiator.com for the book and the mastermind and more info there. I appreciate it in advance. Thank you. Alrighty. Well, thank you for tuning into this show. I'm sure you enjoyed John, a good friend of mine and also in our community, and it's really great to see him grow, and I'm really, really excited about what is happening at Seller Candy. And if you have time, I don't know if the show, we give you about 2 weeks from this show went online to get into this webinar. It'll be linked in the show notes at globalfromasia.com/sellercandy. And make sure you grab that free option to get it. It's going to be short and sweet. Like we said, there is an offer. It's a special price that is not online anywhere. And it also supports the show here. There will be a little bit of a commission to us. So thank you in advance for even considering the show. You'll learn a lot at the webinar. You'll learn a lot, and you'll get a very special offer as well, just to fully transparent here. That's what I like about John. He's a really straight shooter guy, and he's built many great businesses, and that's what it is for you too, right? We're building long-term business here. We're not the hit and run kind of community here. We're building friendships, we're building business, we're growing our companies, building our brands, whether it's a personal brand, a product brand, a service brand, because that's all it really is. I saw some video with a Gary Vee lately. He's like on stage, he takes a shoe off his Nike. He says, this swoosh is worth $1 trillion or $1 billion, billions of dollars. The shoe itself is a commodity, right? But it's the trust that product is good, that people know that logo. And that's what we're doing here at the show, what John's doing in his product brands and his service brands, and what I hope you are doing as a listener, because that's what it takes. And sometimes you got to refund a customer, maybe you don't agree with. Sometimes you got to make a hard decision or, sacrifice. I could be watching some Netflix right now, but I'm recording this intro for you, or outro, in the podcast. So I do hope you enjoy. Again, if you want to grab that free webinar, I'll be there. John will be there. There'll be already some people that were on the live show that are signed up. So if you want to grab that, get the link at globalfromasia.com/sellercandy. And as well, you could see other cool stuff. We spent quite a bit of time making this long page. We have a cool quote. We're working on more and more little tidbits of info, links, and bonuses and info. So check it out. globalfromasia.com/sellercandy. I'm Michael McLean, the host here. Episode 331 over and out. Thanks for coming with me all the way to the end.
To get more info about running an international business, please visit our website at www.globalfromasia.com. That's www.globalfromasia.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our iTunes feed. Thanks for tuning in.